Hey there, are you looking for some marketing and sales ideas for 2021? Good, look no further. Today, I'm going to give you some strategies, some marketing ideas, some tactics that you can use in your agency in 2021. So let me start with the obvious. First, the number one strategy to jump into, it's got to be video if you're not there already. And I don't just mean posting videos on social media. I mean, video should be in your proposals. You should have videos on your landing pages. They should be on your blogs. Yeah, of course, they should be in social media and email. Whatever you're doing with your sales and marketing, there should be some type of video. Hey, I mean, look at your own consumer habits, right? You like to engage with videos, and it really helps you better understand things as well. So get into video. Number two, think about growth, how you can generate growth from within your own book of business. So start to think about retention, referral marketing, rounding accounts. You should be actively using your marketing, especially in times of unknown or economic decline. You want to do all you can within that book of business to grow. And honestly, it's much easier to profit from growing your own book of business than it is to generate cold leads from cold marketing initiatives. Number three, this one is simple. Start selling outside of your immediate zip codes. I know for some of you this is obvious, but for others, especially small rural insurance agents, we're used to selling within our own zip codes and staying with that. But we live in a digital world, and a lot of our consumers, we might not be interacting or engaging or visiting them anyways, except for through Zoom. So why not expand to your entire state, or take it the next level and expand countrywide, or at least within your area of the country? There is so much more room for potential and for growth if we can reach out to larger businesses, if we can reach out to those who are actually active on LinkedIn or social media, where there's only so much potential within your zip code. So branch out, market and sell in different areas and locations. You'll be able to bring in a much higher revenue. Number four, marketing and sales integration. We need to do a better job of bridging the gap between marketing and sales. Now, I know I've done a video on this before, but think about your own buying behaviors. A lot of buyers, a lot of consumers, they don't necessarily want to interact with a salesperson. Most people do a majority of their decision making and their buying online. So we need to equip our salespeople with marketing content, with videos, with marketing initiatives that are going to help drive leads, but also help throughout the buying and the sales journey to help turn those leads into sales. Number five, on the same note of bridging things together, look at our world. We also need to learn how to bridge together the virtual and the physical. So start thinking of ways that you can meet prospects where they are, stuck in their homes in a virtual way, but still bring in physical elements. So like, let's do coffee together. Let's have lunch together. Buy your prospect lunch and have it delivered to their house or to the office as you have a virtual meeting. And try to start to think of ways to integrate these two. Maybe even do a physical mail campaign where they go and have virtual aspects where they can use a QR code or visit a website or do something virtually, and start to bring these two worlds together, because in reality, to most of us consumers, these worlds aren't separate. They're just our world, and we need to engage with them in that. Number six, we need to use automation. And we need to use automation to help streamline our efforts. The mistake a lot of insurance agencies make is using automation as an email marketing tool. And it's not that. We need to look at everything we're doing, processes. We need to look at our marketing, our sales follows. We need to take a look at all of this and say, hey, what can we automate and what can't be automated so that we can improve our productivity, so that we can improve our efficiency. This, at the end of the day, means we have more time to sell and we have the opportunity to reach more prospects. So automate. Number 7, your sales and marketing team needs to be nimble, agile, and focused. Too many insurance agents, they're either all over the place and not seeing results, or they're very, very, very slow to adapt and to try new things. I mean, for instance, we've worked with clients that it takes them weeks and sometimes months to even get a blog post out. Now, if you look at the business landscape, things are constantly evolving. Look what COVID did. There are these things that come in and cause us to need to adapt immediately. Our messaging might need to change, technology might need to change, and your sales team and your marketing team don't have a chance if they're not able to sprint and pivot and sprint and pivot and actually work in a way where we are hitting our targets. And many of our marketing and sales teams are just not doing well because they're not focused and they're not up to date with what they need to be doing in their processes, and how they approach doing business is so far behind. We need to change that, and we need to become agile in our processes and focused on what we need to do and who we need to target. Number 8, create a nurturing strategy. What do you have in place for all those prospects your team has talked to over the past year? Do you follow up? Do you give them a call in 6 months or in 11 months when the renewal is coming up? We need to create nurturing strategies for our prospects, those who have interacted with us but who aren't ready to buy, for leads who have come to us but haven't bought yet, for those who we did quote but they told us now is not a good time, and even for our clients, we need to create nurturing strategies where we can communicate with them and continually dripping our message to them. One great example is we had a prospect engaged with us 10 months ago. It wasn't until this past week where we actually had a sales call with them. Why? Because they weren't ready for a sales call. They needed to understand more. They needed to engage with more content. They needed to discuss more things with their team. And so I get not every sales process is this long, but for many of you, you're missing a lot of opportunities because you don't have something in place to be there throughout this journey. Number 9, be creative. One of the hardest things to do for marketers and salespeople right now is to get in front of their buyers. I mean, there's so much competition, there's so much noise, there's so much in the way that get in the way of us communicating with our ideal client. And so sometimes what we have to do is just think of something creative, whether it's relevant to insurance or not, just to get the eyes and the ears of the consumer so that they can actually hear our message. So what are some things you can do? I mean, have a controlled burn with the fire department and show people how long it actually takes for a house to burn down. Maybe crash 2 cars together and see the damage. I mean, do a rap video. Whatever you need to do, but be creative and get in front of consumers so that they can say, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let me learn more about that," or what you have to offer. Number 10, omnichannel distribution. The modern consumer wants us to be wherever they want us to be, whether it's social media or having a website presence or Google, whatever it is, they expect us to be wherever they want to be, whether they pull out their phone or get out their computer. We need to be where they want us to be, and we can do that with digital tools and digital marketing. Number 11, 24/7 communication tools. Now, in addition to being everywhere, consumers also want us to be available whenever they want us to be available. Whether that's 3 in the morning or 9 o'clock at night or 1 p.m., they want to be able to contact us and learn information and do what they need to do on their time. So make sure you think about getting digital tools like chatbots or digital content or 24/7 customer portals. so that you can always be available to them when they want you to be available to them. Number 12, handwritten letters. So this is for your sales team. If you're struggling to get in the door of a prospect, or you're talking to somebody and they kind of started to ignore you, they're not answering your emails, send them a handwritten letter. How often do you get a letter in the mail? By creating a handwritten letter, somebody's actually going to get that and open it and actually going to read it. And this is a great sales technique or sales strategy for you to get your foot in the door to a potential prospect. Now, this isn't for every account, but this is great for some of the bigger accounts that let you get your foot in the door and actually let you do something personable in a world that it's hard to get face to face anymore. Number 13, create experiences. People are yearning for experiences. I mean, even before COVID, there was a term, doing it for the gram, which simply means, people want to experience things. Even though it's a digital world, they are yearning for the physical or just having something to do. So think about doing coffee in a Medicare, where you buy out part of a coffee shop and let people come in and sit and you can teach them. Or heck, sponsor a wine and painting night where you get a chance to network and talk with people in the community. But people are yearning for this, for experiences. So think of ways that you can create an experience, whether it's digitally, in person, to learn about insurance, or just to network. Think about how you can create an experience to get in front of your ideal client and to create those connections and to create those relationships. Number 14, give people permission. Now, I know this one sounds a little strange, but when we give people permission, we are actually encouraging them and empowering them to make a decision. I mean, really think about the climate, the social climate with everything going on, and everybody feels like they have to be their best. But when you give somebody permission to say, not be perfect or to not have it all together, this really empowers them and encourages them. So if you're setting up a meeting, say, hey, you know what? You have kids at home. Let's do Zoom. Your house can be a mess. Your kids can be loud. It's okay. Or say, hey, I get you're concerned. You're a little worried to switch insurance agents, but it's just a conversation. It would be okay. There's no commitment. And just empower people by giving them permission. Number 15, influencer marketing. So when I say influencer marketing, I'm not talking about hiring an Instagram model or hiring a celebrity to talk about your insurance agency. Instead, think about the centers of influence or the authorities or maybe even the resources that your niche goes to learn. So think about podcasts or maybe popular businesses in the community and use this as a way to leverage what they've already built and that trust that's already established. One great example is, every time I hear a podcast and the host is kind of super excited about the sponsor, there's immediately this trust in my head that's like, oh, that sounds kind of good. So use that as an advantage. Find out who is a trusted source for your niche and see what kind of relationship you can build with them. Number 16, create interactive content. Now, I know a lot of insurance agencies are blogging, they're creating videos, and this is great. But what often happens, and you might experience this too, is you read a blog and then you're not really quite sure, but the only option is to contact that person, and you're not ready to contact them yet. Instead, think about assessments or checklists or guides, these type of things where your consumer can actually do the work for you and figure things out for you and say, oh yeah, I do need this. Or maybe even think about how much life insurance do you need so that they can come to the conclusion themselves. And then the sell for you is easy. At that point, they've done all the work. They've already convinced themselves. and all they need is for you to help them sign their name on the dotted line. So create interactive content and take your content to the next level. Number 17, individualized, personalized content. Modern buyers want everything personalized. Think about all the websites you go to. Think about Amazon. At the top it says, "Hey George, hey Susan, here are some items that you might like." When it comes to marketing, we really, really, really need to get away from these general newsletters. Having a monthly or a quarterly newsletter is okay, but at the end of the day, we need content and information and proposals that are catered to that specific person. Or it just feels like they're another number and they're not really getting a whole lot of value for that. So what consumers want is a personalized experience. Not just on the phone with your account manager, but also through the marketing and the sales journey. Number 18, become an expert. Now, this goes for you and this goes for all the other producers on your team. Your competition is growing, not just locally, but online. A couple of examples are Next Insurance, who really caters to contractors. They claim that they're the specialists. Also, think about SelectQuote, right? They're hammering the life insurance market. Think about this from the consumer standpoint. Who do you want handling your insurance? Somebody who's seen a couple people like you, or someone whose specialty is their problem? And so do this on LinkedIn and Facebook and maybe even in person. Become an expert in a niche area. Yes, you can write other business. Yes, you can talk to other prospects, but build your own expertise so that when people see you, they know, hey, that's the contractor guy. Hey, that's the HR guy. Hey, that's the workers' comp guy. So that they know your specialty. And this gives you a leg up and leverage over all the other competition in your area. Number 19, we need to be marketing from within. And I'm not talking about marketing with your heart. I'm talking about turning our own clients and even our own employees as advocates for our businesses. Now, you've seen it before. You've seen posts on social media where somebody absolutely loves the business they work for, or they share something special about a purchase that they just made. And this immediately in your mind, it's like, oh, I want that same experience, or I would love an experience like that too. So when you treat your employees and your customers extremely well, they're going to share that experience, and others in their center of influence are going to see this, and they're going to want to do business with you. But even taking this to the next level, think about a way that you can give them something that they can show on social media. So like for an example, if you write an account, maybe send them a bottle of champagne that says, hey, let's celebrate. And they post it online, all their friends are going to say, hey, my insurance agent doesn't do anything like that. And your customer is going to say, oh, well, I just got done talking to Rick and he was so great. You should give him a call. And let your employees and let your customers build the trust and do the marketing and sales for you. And at that point, all you have to do is pick up the phone and say hello. Number 20, webinar marketing. Now, just because the world's a little crazy right now and you might not be able to meet with all your clients face to face, doesn't mean that you need to stop advising and being a trusted advisor. Now, marketing via webinars gives you two advantages. One, you get to meet with prospects and generate really high quality leads from the information you're putting out there. And number two, this saves you a whole lot of time because now you can prospect and generate leads and talk to potential clients in mass amounts instead of driving to business to business to business. Now you're able to work multiple prospects at a time without leaving your desk. Talk about a productive lunch hour, right? Number 21. Lastly, you need to integrate your data. Now, you need to do this for your marketing, for your sales, for your customer service team. You need to be able to see what's happening with prospects and clients at a glance. And you also need to be able to measure the ROI of everything that's going on. Too many agents right now are they're shooting in the dark and they don't really know what's going on. And I feel like a lot of insurance agencies are starting to feel the weight of that, and they don't know how to improve. They don't know who's going to fire them. They don't know what prospects are actually engaged with them, but their salespeople aren't making the calls because they don't have the data available. So you really need to start looking at ways that you can kind of integrate the data from when people start engaging with you and interacting with you all the way through the point of them becoming a client. And even if they choose to walk away or if they don't become a client, we need to keep that data so that we have an accurate view of what is actually going on in our businesses. Lastly, with all of these measures, you'll want to ensure that you can measure everything. Now, a lot of insurance agencies that I've come in contact with, they're running their business off of a gut feeling or doing things that have always been done. Now, we need to get away from that and we need to start having tangible proof for what's actually working and how we can actually make improvements. Now, getting into a lot of insurance agencies, I find two really bad things when it comes to marketing and sales. One, the owner or the sales manager has their own favorite sales and marketing initiatives. And these are not always profitable, but yet it's what they've always done and it's what they like. Two, we also have employees who have their own favorite marketing and sales initiatives. And again, there's no tangible proof to say, hey, these things really don't work for us anymore and we need to make a change. So start to integrate your data. Look at ways that you can start to measure marketing initiatives, sales initiatives, what's going on with the agency, and then put together this proof so that you can actually see what's going on, so you can measure your marketing and sales initiatives, that you can identify what's working and identify what's not working, and so that you can put these pieces together and actually see your ROI grow throughout 2021. So I know this was a lot of information, but I hope this helps you kind of get some ideas and how you can position your agency moving forward next year. We don't know what 2021 holds, and as a wise person told me, we have to expect 2021 to look a lot like 2020 or maybe even worse. So we can't hold on to the status quo or hold on to maybe things will get better. We have to be proactive in how we are going to reach and engage our prospects. So if you're not quite sure what to do, or maybe you just need a sounding board for your ideas and you want to make sure that they're in line with what you need to do, reach out to me. Let's chat, let's talk, and let's figure out what you need to do to make 2021 a success. Hey, I'm looking forward to connecting with you. We'll talk soon.